Hello everybody, welcome to part 3 of our mystery Advent Wreath Advent project, which is today, and today is the, God, what is it today? Today is the, come on Steffi, it's the 13th of December. I knew that, 13th of December 2022, and I haven't lit the candles yet, but it's 3 candles today, so I'm going to do this now. I'm going to start with 2 matches because every time I start, the matches go out. So I'm going to go for 2 matches straight off. 1, 2, and 3. Woohoo! They're all lit up. I'm just going to pull this forward a bit, just in case it's a bit too close to the background, but it's all fine. So that's exciting. 3 candles lit. 1 more Sunday. That will be the 4th of Advent, and then after that, it's Christmas. And of course, the last of our Advent Wreath projects will be on the 20th, and then you've got another 5 days to open your 5th parcel to completely complete your Advent Wreath, which I'm not going to cover here, so you have to do this at home and just share with us what you find as a special gift on Christmas Day in your Advent box. Right, so I have opened my parcel already, and today we're going to do a campfire and an owl to fit onto the Advent Wreath. I'm going to empty out all the goodies in there, and oh, something left, so it's good to double check. Yes, all gone now. So we have a look at that in a minute, but before we do that, I'm just going to see who's here in the house today and say hello to everybody who is watching live. Good morning. No, it's not morning anymore. Hello, Jane. Hi, Steffi, Alicia, and Fluff Friends. I'm a bit early today. Couldn't make it last week, so had to catch up later. I have to catch up later. So loving this Advent Wreath project. Oh, thank you. That's so nice to hear. Diane is early too, and Karen is there. Hi, Karen. Karen hasn't even started yet. Hopefully I will have time soon. You will. Karen, another Karen. Hi Steffi, Alicia and everyone. Week 3 already. Will soon be the time for Santa to pack his sleigh. Yes. Sarah is there. Hi Sarah. Only finished my tree last night, but here to find out what's next. Vampire Venom is there. Gemma. Gemma hasn't finished the tree, but that's okay. You don't have to do this as a make along. You can just watch and then rewatch, of course. Fiona is there. Hi everyone. Haven't finished the tree roots yet, but I'll get there. That's a tiny little job. You'll be there in no time at all. Angela is there. Hi Steffi, Alicia, and Fluff Friends. We'll be attempting to keep up with super speedy Steffi today. Well, my fingers are a bit cold. It might not be so super speedy. Vicky is there. She's still working on the tree. Alison is there. She's made a start on this week's. Aha! And Rose and of course Alicia is here supporting me through an earpiece if need be. Olga is there. Marion is there. From cold Netherlands, says Olga. Yes, well, it's cold in the UK as well. And Marion is there from Perth, Western Australia. Don't think you've got our temperatures, but yeah, well, I love snow. Laura is there. Lorna, Tammy, and I haven't missed anybody. If I have, apologies now. It's not meant in any bad way. It's just I can't remember all the names I'm reading. So we've got, I'll just show you this overhead now. So we've got the campfire here and the owl in the tree to do. And this is how far we got last week. So we made the tree and we've put roots down. Actually, there's a bit of extra bit that I haven't added. So it's been quite exciting to work with these blue face Leicester curls, because they give the root such a realistic look, and I think you all enjoyed that from what you've been saying. And week 3 reads, how time flies, the 3rd of Advent, so very nearly Christmas. Remember to take time out for yourself, and what better way than to make some super cute and cozy decorations for the mystery wreath. You will be making a tiny owl to sit in the tree and a roaring campfire that will light up the wreath. So that's what we're doing today. And so what shall we start with? Let's see what happens here on the instructions. So you're actually starting with the campfire stones, and in your Advent parcel you've got a dark brown wool, which is I think it's the milk sheep. Without looking, I'm pretty certain it is. Then you've got a lighter wool here, and then you've got the hair brown there. You've got light wool, and then you've got yellow, and you've got the flames. So some of you might have more of the yellow in this part of the top, because it's our sunset top. So it's just a bit of potluck what you're getting. So you're either going to get a super hot fire, or you're going to get more of a mellow yellow fire. And not to forget, you get your little branches that you need to cut into half. So you will need some pliers today. I've tried breaking these with my fingers, and they are virtually impossible to break. And I have got fingers of steel. So get your pliers ready, or get somebody to cut them for you if you are not able to do this. You might be able to even use 2 pairs of pliers if you have the luxury to have this, but you can just literally put them inside the pliers and then break them, or at least make a dent, so that you can then just sever them. So that's the way to do it. Yeah, sorry, I thought they were much easier to break, but when they arrived I was trying so hard. This one is a bit thinner, might be able, this one I can do. But most of them are absolutely impossible to break. Literally, you're going to hurt yourself if you do it. So do use pliers. You don't need to sew them, just snap them in half with pliers. That'd be absolutely fine. Right, that was jumping ahead a little bit, but what we're going to do now is I show you how to make the pebbles that will sit here on the wreath, which is one of the reasons why we needed that tree to tuck away as far to the side as possible, because we need to make a nice round campfire here in that or in that sort of almost inside part of the wreath. So make sure that you've got that space available. Right, just quickly before I forget, I'll say it now because they're an item of luxury apparently, but we've got carders back in stock. We get asked for them all the time. They're back in stock. Fill your boots now. They come in 3 different sizes. We've always had 2 different sizes, but we've added a 3rd size into it so that we could have more to offer to you. So do go and get your carders if you, and of course they're tiny little ones, just to mix wool a little bit more easily than having to tear it with your fingers. But they are available now. And then the other thing, very excited, I want to say this straight at the beginning, we are working again with Joan Prowse, who you know did the lion workshop for us in Nailsworth at our headquarters, and she's now worked on an absolutely stunning leopard. It is really amazing. I even think the next thing I'm going to show you is almost not doing it justice, but hopefully next week I can bring him with me when I was meant to go to the office on Monday, but I was snowed in. Oh, how terrible. So I haven't been able to pick him up before we had a photo taken. But this is basically the details are here. The leopard, it's a needle felting masterclass as before, so you do need prior knowledge of needle felting. This time it's a 3-day course. If you remember, the lion was a 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, and we are offering an early bird December 2022 price. So if you pay this within December, this month basically in full, it will be £400 per person. From January it will jump up to 475, but if you come in with an extra person, you will be buying, you will be getting it for $4.25 each. So if you have a friend or a family member and you both want to book, then you only pay $4.25 each. But if you absolutely certain you want it, then book now, secure your place. There are limited spaces, and I know that this will go absolutely bonkers, this workshop, because lots of people they're already on our list on wanting to book. So send us an email, info@themakers with 2s's.co.uk, and just also note that the venue where it will be held is Unit 17A, not 19 anymore, because by that time we're 100% certain that we will be in our new unit, and it is very, very near. You can literally see both of them side by side, but just make sure you walk through the right door. But all of this a little bit more details closer to the time, because it's not until March, so you know we have a little bit of time to prime everybody and prepare everybody. It is materials and the tuition and all the tools and everything is provided, but you will have to find your own accommodation if you do not live close enough to travel to us every day. So if you need any help with that, then get in touch as well. But Nailsworth is a beautiful Cotswold town, and there are plenty of little Airbnbs. They are very reasonable. We're not the posh Cotswold, so you're not pay an arm and a leg. And you if you need help, get in touch. We're more than happy to give you a list of people that we know do accommodation. Right, let's move straight into our pebbles, because we need to make quite a few. So I'm using my earth-friendly felting mat, which desperately needs a clean, but I'm not going to do that now. Let's turn it around. Here we go. So the first pebble that you're making is a mix, or it's a stone really, a mix between a pinch of the dark brown wool and a little less of the brown grey wool. So these two together, and you're now going to mix them. So this would be really useful to have your carders. Do have some somewhere. Maybe I need to grab them. I'm just going to grab them for a minute so that you can, I'm pretty certain I've got two carders here. I'm just going to get them so that I can show you what carders are doing and how they work. I am back momentarily. I might have lent them out to somebody, but hopefully not. I just hope I've got two. I found one. Oh no, I think it might be just one. Oh well, you can work with one as well. I'll show you how to do that too. You can do flick carding, what's called flick carding. So these are the carding brushes. This is actually a really large one. I don't even know if we sell large ones like this. Ours are usually half the size. And to do flick carding, you hold the wool like this and you just let the carder grip it. That is called flick carding. And that way it sort of mixes up the wool. So you just let it grip the wool. You take it off here. If you have two carders, you go against each other. So you do this motion with the other carder. Anyway, you mix the two wools together and then you roll it into a ball shape. It doesn't have to be round, it can be oval. And you're going to have your first little pebble ready here. And it should be about 1.5 by 2 centimeters, so 1.5 wide, 2.5 centimeters long. Take your coarse felting needle and stab the shape closed, and then just stab it from all directions. Be really careful you don't stab your fingers, so that you firm it up and turn it into a more stone looking shape. So as you are doing this, you should have sort of a small variegation in there, but we're going to mix different wools now, so to get even a different look. The stones are quite dark because if you have a roaring fire inside there, they get a little bit discolored. So I've done my first one here, and then I'll repeat the same process, but this time I'm adding a little bit of cream wool into it. So you can have either just the brown and a little bit of this cream wool, and let's see what the flick carding, how that works now. So you just take this. I'll show you how to mix wool in a minute with your fingers as well. And you just let it, it's quite easy with one carder as well. You don't necessarily need two. You don't want it too mixed either, because you do want that sort of streaky pebble look or stone look. You do want that in there. So you roll that up again. Oopsie. If you can roll it in your fingers, good. If you need to lie it down on your felting mat and wind it up, that's fine too. All you need to do is you need a stone. And stones come in all shapes and sizes, and they come flat and they come round and they come with bits missing. So if there's a dent in it or if there's a crack in it, don't worry about it. You're not going to see too much of the individual stone anyway. But if you like them all exactly the same, knock yourself out. We don't mind what your stone needs to look like. So there's my second one. I'm going to make another one now. Got to get a bit more, get all three colors. And this time I'm going to show you how to mix them in your fingers. So you just tease the colors apart, always going from side to side, mixing the wool and always overlaying the wool in the same direction. So don't get tempted to crisscross them, because you will bobble the wool and you won't have these neat fibers. And then you roll this up into a ball shape again. So this one is quite a light stone. Felt it down with your felting needle like this, so that you have a firmer shape. You don't have fluffy bits sticking out, so that it looks like a smooth surface or smooth shape. And you've made another stone. Now they can be slightly different sizes. They don't have to be exactly the same. It adds more of a realistic look if they're all different. So don't worry if one of them is smaller than the others. And I've made 3 now. So I'm going to continue this, mixing just the dark brown and the grey wool again, not too much, so that you get that variation in there. And basically what you're trying to do is make about 6 to 7 stones, but before you make them all, you're going to see and fit them onto the wreath to make sure how many you actually need to make, because you might have made them slightly smaller or slightly bigger, so you might have to make less or more depending on how big they are and how much space they take up on the wreath. Also, every wreath is slightly different, so you might have left more or less space for where the stones are going. The main thing is that these stones will sit here in this bit here, and so you need to fit them on there. Fit them, just try and have them sort of just sitting on there for now, like this. And this is, it will make a stone circle. So I would say that I probably need another 2, 1, 2, and that would make it exactly 6. So that I could probably squeeze a 7th one on there. So I know that I need at least 2 more, if not 3 more. And let's have a let's show you these in my hand as well, so you can see them. So these are the little stony shapes. Little, I don't know, they do look a bit like stones, don't they? If you hold them like this. So oh dear, I might have to do 4 more. No, I've dropped it. Oh dear. Okay, I better get cracking and make 4 more. Right, okay, let's do this. But before I do this, I'm going to just have a quick check-in how everybody's doing. So, yes, that does actually happen, Marian. The top mat gets a little bit wider when you've got the earth mat, because it stretches a little bit because it's quite soft. It doesn't take away its efficiency. It just doesn't look as nice anymore. But yeah, no, you're doing nothing wrong. So what is everybody? Sorry, I just caught that. Oh, Diane was looking for stones. You've got to make the stones yourself. You get the wood. Oh, Linda says she's loved the Advent wreath and she's been restraining herself from opening the weeks early. Yes, you have to keep a lot of self-control here to make sure that you're not getting tempted to have a sneak peek. Not that we'd ever know if you did. Gemma says, so glad I have my dad and his tools with me. It's funny, he's always almost as excited as what's next as I am. Oh, that's so nice. Good little helper there. Hi, Carol. Carol has joined us now. My top mat has shrunk to smaller than the bottom one. Does that mean I need a new one? You always can do with a new top mat, of course, but you don't really need one. No, you don't need one, but you certainly can buy another one. I'm not going to stop you. Ashley says, wish the labels on the Advent packages were easy peek so I could reuse the bags. Oh, so sorry. You could cut the bags shorter, cut it open and use it as wrapping paper. How about that? You mean easy peel probably, but I probably read it wrong. My top, oh, no, we've gone to the top mat. So one's got shrunk, one's got wider. Interesting. I'm way behind. Oh, where's that now? It's gone. Okay. Does it matter which side gets used? No, it doesn't. Both sides can be used. You have 4 options. You can use this side, turn it round, and use this side. You can use the firmer side on this side and on this side. You can do whatever you like with these mats. They are absolutely brilliant. So yes, no, any side you can use. Tammy says if you enough of the small bits and pieces of wool that has picked up other colors of wool and you can't use for anything else, you probably could use it to build your felting pad back up. Yes, you could, but I think it might be better. Maybe just make colorful stones or use it, give it to the birds. The birds love this sort of stuff. Right, let's go back to the overhead camera so we can I can catch up in making. You can also just use this wool, the grey wool. Remember that we are making an owl after this, so I can't quite remember what we need to keep for the owl, but you have got plenty of wool in this week's project to make what you need to make. Okay, I'm churning out these stones really fast now because I want to show you how to finish the fireplace, but then also move on to the owl that we need to put into the tree. And yeah, that's it. I remember I was demoing the other day at the Glasgow show, and I actually managed, I don't know if you can still see it, or you might still be able to see it, I managed to put the needle through my little finger, so they came out at the other end. And of course, because I was demoing, I tried to really hide what I'd just done, so I was like suppressing my squeal and then hiding my little finger as I noticed there was blood coming out, and only a little bit, but you know, you don't want to show, when you show somebody how to needle felt, you don't want to show them straight away how you stab yourself. And then when they had left, I said to my colleague, I said, oh, I've really stabbed myself. And I noticed I actually stabbed of fluff through my finger. It came out at the other end. And I tell you what, the worst thing was pulling it out. That was much worse than actually stabbing myself. It was such a horrible feeling pulling it through my finger. So yes, not recommended, but let's not start stabbing horror stories. So not to put everybody off who's watching here for the first time. You do occasionally just poke that needle in your finger when you shouldn't. It does happen. Everybody does it. It's usually inattention, or you're rushing, or you're not looking what you're doing. So all of those things you can probably do more of and then avoid stabbing yourself. But it just occasionally it does happen, and it does happen to me too. And I think it's often when I rush things, or when I'm tired, or when I'm trying to do 5 different things all at the same time, and that's not recommended when you're needle felting. So I've got 5 stones there now. I'm going to go for, just try and have that stripiness on the outside, give it a bit more of a stone-like or a huge pebble look. I think my stones are getting bigger. And I just use a single needle. I'm such a single needle person. I just use it most of the time. I use my single needle. It's not that I don't use multi-tools, but I think for the majority I use the single needle because I feel you have more control and you can create finer finishes, more precise finishes. Maybe that's what I should say. More precise finishes so that you can put things exactly where you want them to go and then felt them down rather than having to content with 2, 3, 4 other needles that are in a completely different place. Right, that's that would make my fireplace that big if I put them all together now. So I probably want another one in here. So that is my 7th stone then. And I'll just mix a bit of the 3 colors together again. So, and then turn it into a bowl shape. I roll it up in my fingers, but you can also do this on a hard surface, like on the felting mat or on the table. Felt it down. Remember to keep turning it so that you get it stabbed from all directions. I just love these wool bats. They just felt down so quickly. Why on earth people do this with wool tops? This is an absolute miracle to me. I'm not a miracle. What's the word? Mystery. That's what I'm looking for. An absolute mystery. Why do people use wool tops when wool bats felt so much faster? I just don't get it. But maybe I'm just not. Maybe I don't. Maybe I do it wrong when I use wool tops. I just love wool bats. Right. Okay. That's seven stones here now, ready to be put together. And the way that you do this, you are basically felting them onto one by one. Take this out of the way. Into place. Now make sure that you really are putting this. You don't want it sitting here because it looks like the fire is about to fall off the wreath. You do want it here in that inner part of the wreath. And I'm just felting into the edges of the stone. And also you could just get them into place by just stabbing them in so that you can let go of them and not securing them fully yet. Just get them put in. It's a bit awkward because you've got to hold the wreath up at the same time while you're attaching the stones. So, and you do need to leave space on this side here because something else is going to go there. And that is week 4, the final project for week 4, which we're doing next week. So if you've got the tree roots sitting exactly here, then maybe you need to cover them up with the stones, or maybe you need to reroot the roots to a different place. All of that is possible. Okay. There, and then one more. So the fire is very close to the tree. It's probably not a good idea if you do that in real life. Okay, I'm not saying this is the best well thought through practical campfire. So there you go. And then fasten these stones on more thoroughly by stabbing around the edge and put the wool from the stone, stab that into the wreath so that you've got them nice and secure, fastened onto the wreath. And in the middle of that stone circle, you'll have the green cover of the wreath showing, and we're going to get rid of that in a minute. So you want to just get to the other page. So you want to use some of this darker brown wool and fill the center up by just stabbing into it. I don't think I'm using my coarse needle anymore. Where did that go? No, that's not my coarse needle. Where did you go, coarse needle? Oh well, just keep using this for now. So I've just laid it literally on top, and I'm just stabbing it into that space inside. I haven't made it very neat to fit in to start with. I'm just getting this to fill the space up in the middle, because this is the ash. This is the ashes in there. These are the ashes. And now I'm going to have to show you very precisely what I'm going to do next. So the fireplace sits inside that inner part of the wreath. Make sure you don't have it hanging off it, because you know, the fire will just spill out, obviously. So what you're going to do next, you are going to fasten these little logs. I've already cut. I've cut one and I've broken one in half, and they're here. You might not need all of these, so you've got probably more than what you will need. But basically, you're going to lay one of these into the center of the fire, like this. And now you're going to tease off a bit of your flame, basically. And now you're going to lay this over that log, like this. You're going to stab it down on both ends. I'm not using glue, however you can if you feel happier using glue. And use your coarse felting needle, and then you stab the flames down on either side of that log. So you're basically firming, not firming, you're fastening that log into your flame. Okay, so the flames can be pushed up afterwards again, but just get it fastened down. And I'm definitely going to have to look for my coarse needle now. Maybe a medium one will do as well. I've lost my coarse needle, so I'm just going to go to the big screen whilst I'm looking for one, because I know I have got one. I've got my little, this is what I use, these little teacups. So, and that one, got two. Oh dear, I'm so sorry. I didn't sleep very well last night. Is anybody else not sleeping well at the moment? I don't really know what it's got to do with. My needles aren't marked, so I'm going to have to try them. Oh, that's a nice one. Let's have that one. Nice coarse needle. So these little landscapes in a teacup, they're not just good for holding your needle. You can actually stab into the wool and test your needle at the same time. I don't know if you noticed me doing that. We have got a live stream of how to make these on our YouTube channel, and I've got a couple here. So I use these all the time. You just can't see that they're there. And yes, anyway. Right, so let's go back to the overview scene. So I've added one of these bits of logs. Now I'm going to add the second, but you need to do it so that it's slightly at a offset to the first one. And then you're going to do exactly the same again. So you use a bit of the red wool. This time you're going over it again. Make sure that you are getting the wool felted down so that that log is offset. Also make sure that you're not pulling the flames down. So you're felting the flames down, but you're not pulling them down. So stab around them, but hold the flames up at the same time. And you can still adjust these little logs because they're not that secure. They're just they're pinned down, but they still slide around. So that is number 2. And then number 3, same. Oh dear, it's really hard to do this. I've got to hold it with my chin. You can't even see it anymore. So the problem with this will be that you can hold it without it slipping away, and it's really hard for me to do this, trying to show you it whilst I'm also trying to make this work. So on this one here, you can use also some of the tops that you felted down already and fold them over and pin and felt them down, because you can always add more flames. So the adding of flames is not a problem, because they're easily added. Getting the wool, getting the logs pinned down is maybe more of an issue. Okay, and you could even put another one now across that way. Anyway, you've got lots and lots of flames, lots and lots of logs, however many you manage to get in there. Just make sure that you've got your flames going up. So add more wool and felt between the logs, so that when you are done, you can pull these little wisps of wool up and have as realistic a look of a fire as you can manage. And I think it's a lot more effective than you think it will be when you're actually making it, because you can get more of these logs down, and you can adjust them still, and if you want to, you can glue them down and then have just that fire sticking up, and it does look like a hot roaring fire with these amazing tops that are going up like this. So at this point you might decide to move your tree out of the wreath, so because you want the flames to go up and not completely scorch the tree. So you can adjust the tree branches still to go more to the side, maybe even hanging down. The main thing is that you need to have your little seat here where the owl will fit, and that's what we're going to do next. So the owl will sit on here. That's only a suggestion. If you want it to sit somewhere else, like in here, or even on top of a branch, you can do that too. But I'm just going to show you this now in the front camera so you can see the fire roaring, going right up my nose, warming my nose up. There you go. This is the little campfire in the center of the wreath. And I don't know about you, but I've never needled a campfire before, needle felted a campfire before. So if this is your first time, success. The makers have done it again. We've taught you something you have never done before. So I'm always very happy when that happens. Of course, you might have done it, but here you go. You might have done it in a different way. So that is what's happening with the campfire. And the second project is the owl. But before I do this, I just also want to tell you that we have got a little treat. Well, we've got a couple of treats happening. So, well, in fact, 3 treats. Let's talk about this. First of all, we've got some gift bundles that we've made available on our website, which you can buy. And basically, if you put all the products together and bought them individually, you would pay 25% more than what you buy if you buy it as a gift bundle. There are currently 4 different gift bundles, but hopefully 5 soon, and you can find them on the left hand side of our website, where all the categories and the shopping categories are. There is a category called gift bundles, so click on there and have a look what we've got in store for you. They are meant to be a gift to yourself or somebody else. So that's one exciting bit of news. Now, the other exciting bits of news is that we've put together a crafty box bundle, and this is very similar to what we did with the fairies, but this one is much deeper, because so it's not a large letterbox. It has got peg dolls in there and toadstools, and so it's filled with lots and lots of goodies, which are not necessarily needle felting related. You can just, maybe when you've got your children on a Christmas holiday day, or between Christmas and New Year, maybe you've got the grandchildren over, just get creative and dress up little peg dolls or toadstools. Get your paints out if you like, give them little hats. My colleague made a super cute little dog by just putting furry bits onto a peg doll for a tail and ears, and a bit on the chest, fluffy bits on the chest. So there are many things you can do from these crafty boxes, and I believe they will be £12. So it is an absolute bargain, because all these individual bits, just the peg dolls on their own wouldn't be that cheap. And there's fabric in there, there are little accessories in there, thread if you want to do a bit of sewing, there's felt in there, yeah, so there's all kinds of stuff in there, ribbon for you to get creative with your loved ones over Christmas, maybe as a special treat, and an affordable treat too. Okay, so that is happening. And then as a third thing, we are starting a campaign this week, so you have to watch out for that, and you have to listen carefully. So it's basically give a gift to someone special this Christmas. And what we are proposing is that this will be launched on social media, on Facebook and on Instagram. What we are proposing is that you nominate a person. You don't have to tag them, because if it's a surprise, you don't want to tag them. You tell us that you know somebody who is in need of a little bit of love, a needle felting kit, and yes, and we're going to give away, it's a free kit, and we're making available a lot of them. We're thinking of 30. 30, yes, you've heard right. 30 kits we are giving away to somebody in need who you nominate. And the only thing that you, as the nominator, if that's the word, has to contribute towards is the postage. So all we're asking you is to pay for the postage, and the kit will be free to the person you nominate as the recipient. And so watch out for that happening on our social media. And this, of course, is a campaign we're launching in December 2022. So if you're watching this any other time, we might have lots of other exciting things happening. However, if you ever want to find out about the exciting things that we're doing, sign up to our newsletter. You can do this by going onto our website, www.themakers.co.uk, and then if you scroll down, you will find on the homepage, you will find a sign up box for the newsletter. So that is something that is happening also this week. So watch out for it. We probably launch this Thursday or Friday, and then you can start by nominating. Everybody can nominate one person, so we will keep an eye on that. But the kit itself is at least worth £17.50. We have a range of kits. They are our old style kits. There's nothing wrong with them whatsoever. The contents hasn't changed. It just means that when we've rebranded, some of the labels haven't been changed. So this is basically what we are proposing that we can pass on. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with them whatsoever. We just don't want to repackage them. And it could be anything. We have quite a few of those kits, so it's a complete potluck scenario, and it's a free needle felting kit. I can tell you'll probably end up with a badger or dachshund or some moles, that kind of thing. So it's our classic kits. Nothing. It's not that we want to get rid of them. We still carry them in stock. We just don't want to repackage them. So 3 things happening to help you guys to a successful Christmas, and to make somebody's day. Let's make somebody's day. Let's everybody make somebody's day, and then you'll be one of the ones whose day will be made as well if everybody does it. So yes, that's what we're proposing. Right, I'm going to go back now to the overview screen, because I want to do my little owl that will fit here into the tree. And for this, I need more wool. And it's the same white wool I've used for the pebble to mix into the dark brown wool. And this time you take a small pinch. By now you're an expert of small pinches. And you're going to roll this into an oval shape, exactly how you did for the stones. And then you felt that down with your coarse... I found my coarse felting needle as well. I put it somewhere else entirely. So roll it into that ball shape, whether you do this on your mat, rolling it up, or whether you do it freehand, and then stab into it with your coarse felting needle and round it off, defluff it a bit by stabbing into all of the directions, so you get a nice neat shape. By the way, there is enough wool for you to make 10 owls. So if you want to make more than one, feel free. We're just suggesting you make one, but if you've got space in your tree, you could make an owl pair, an owl couple. So that's entirely up to you. Right, I'm felting this down from all directions now. Just need to do the top here. Try not to stab yourself. There we go. So you should have a little a little olive-sized shape, about 2.5 centimeters long, bang on. And and now you're going to use the lighter brown wool, which is the hair brown. We haven't used this yet. I mean, you could have put this into your stones, but we haven't done that so far. And then you're going to take a medium felting needle and you're going to wrap this around the top of your little oval shape, a bit like, imagine you're making an acorn. So you're putting, almost like you're putting a cup on top of that shape. It doesn't have to be a very dense cover, just get some of that brown wool fastened onto the top half of your shape. So if it's a bit patchy, that's fine. There we go. And a little bit more on this side. So it should look a bit like an acorn. Doesn't matter if the line's not very neat. There we go. Got a little bit of dried up straw in there. And now you're taking the same wool and you're mixing a little bit of the white wool through it. So just make it like a mottled, slightly lighter variation of the wool you put on the top. Okay, and this one you're going to felt onto the part of that shape that's still cream color. So you're covering it up. But because you've got white wool in there, it will look quite patchy, quite mottled, and that's absolutely fine. Please don't worry too much about how precise it is or how neat it is. They owls almost have got, especially these little owls, they've almost got impossible patterns on their feathers. They're impossible to follow. It's not necessarily a particular pattern. So just get the wool down and color in the remainder of your little owl in a patchier, lighter wool. Might just make that last. If you need to mix again, then mix a little bit more. So if you find these little dried up pieces of grass in there, that's completely natural. It just means that the sheep have indeed been living out in the meadows before they get shorn, and they get returned to the meadows after they've been shorn. Right, here we go. So you've now got an indistinct, it looks more like an owl pellet than an owl, to be honest. And what you're going to do next is you're going to use that yellow wool, and you're going to have to make a couple of eyes into the shape. And this is with a darker wool, or with a darker cover, needs to stay on top, and the lighter cover is at the bottom. You can sort of turn your owl around and see where it suits it best. And you can pre-shape these a little bit in your fingers, because you're going to have to make two identical little discs, and just pre-shaping them you'll get an idea of how little wool you will need. But just add a little yellow patch. This is my miniature needle felting, it really is. The yellow patch into the shape for one eye first. If you've got some stray fibers that you can't catch, then just twizzle them around the end of the needle and stab them in quickly before they jump off your needle again. So I'm just pre-shaping this a little bit. It really does help to not have too much yellow on there. And ideally you have two very similar size eyes. It might mean you have to adjust one or the other a little bit once you've got them down. They don't meet in the middle, so they are separate. So there's your little owl now, and you might just need to stab into the rest of it again. And now the tricky bit is that you've got to use a strand of the dark wool, but luckily it is a very long fibered wool, to make a line around the yellow. And so you can use this, but I don't know if you remember, I said last time, keep some of your curly wool, because you can use that too, and that is definitely nice and long and a strand already, and it's very fine, so you might be able to do it easier with a strand of that wool. So whilst it's a little bit curly, don't worry about it, but just felt it as an outline around each of those yellow patches. So make sure that you go on the outside of the yellow, not take yellow away. And when you've made the holes around and you've got some of that wool left over, and the curls are perfect for this. If you have some left over, use these. Then just take your scissors, and I'm going to have to use some really bad scissors at the moment because I can't find my little ones, and just cut it. And cut it so that you've got now the strand exactly where you want it. You can see the difference between these two. This is much, much finer, the curl bit, and you can get a lot thinner strand fitted around the eye. And then you repeat this on the other side. So this is a little bit fiddly, but just take your time, and remember you are using your medium needle to do this as well. So fit that wool around and then cut it off where it's too much. Don't try and pull it. Because you'll just pull it off where you've just felted it down again. And if you've covered up a little bit of yellow, don't worry about that either, because you can add more yellow onto it again. So love this about needle felting. There you are, got a little spooky looking owl there with yellow eyes. And now you've got to use a little bit of dark brown wool. Again, you could take it from the curls if you've got some of the curls left. The colors are very similar, so a little bit of the tiny bit of the dark brown wool, and roll that between your fingers into a tiny little ball, so tiny there, and then just add that into the center of the eye. Again, you're using your medium needle there. So you've added one little eye into it now there, and then you do it on the other side as well. So I'm just teasing off a tiny, tearing off a tiny amount. It works better with the curls again because you can make them a lot shorter. It's a finer wool. I think that's why it works better than with a dark brown milk sheep. So if you have got the curls still to do this, do it. Otherwise, you can do it with a milk sheep, but it works better with the other one. So you've got the two eyes in place. And then again, you use a little bit of dark brown wool, whether it comes from the curls or from the dark brown wool that is in that pack, doesn't matter. And you make a little slightly bigger shape to be felted down for beak. Now, the smaller you work on something, the least detail you need to add. So this beak doesn't have to be beak shape at all. It just needs to be dark offset so that it looks like it's got a little something between those eyes. And then all you need to do is, after that, you take a little bit of the white wool, tiny amounts of white wool, and you're going to add little eyebrows. So shorten that a little bit and then just put it here above the eye, felt it down so it looks like it's got little eyebrows. There, you can shorten it a bit as well. Sorry, I'm using very unsophisticated scissors, but they work. And do this on the other side as well. So it's a little bit fiddly. Maybe if you're finding this hard to follow the instructions, the pictures are a lot bigger than maybe what I can do here right now. The challenge is always to do both the same, so you need to have quite a symmetrical look here. So there's your little owl, ready. There she is, ready to sit, to be fastened onto the tree. As I said, I'm going to put the owl. Is there actually a bit of white? It's got a bald head now. Got to put a bit more brown on there. How did that happen? Didn't look at it from above. Right. Okay, for some reason it had a bit of a bald head, not anymore. And then you just felt this owl into the tree the same way as you did with the pebbles. You felt around the base of the owl so that you catch the wispy fibers of the owl and push them into the tree shape. Remember, there's a pipe cleaner inside, so don't break your needle on the wire. And once it's fastened on like this, you can actually add a couple more curls. I've got loads of these left. I haven't used very many at all. Just add a couple of curls just so that it looks like it's sitting more in a little hollow or nest, rather than you've just glued it to the tree. And that is your little project added onto the Advent wreath now. If you want to add more owls, as I said, you can. I have got all this wool left still, so I've still got loads of curls from the tree roots. I've got all of this left, and I've still got all of this left, and I've got so many branches still left. So you can put them in your stash for future projects. I'm just going to show you this from the front because you want to see the little owl there and the campfire just below. Hopefully you can see that all right. So that basically completes the third week of the mystery Advent wreath. Remember that here I've added, it's not what I wanted it to be. I just peeked into my packages at work, and then when I took it to my home studio, I had left the ribbon, the organza ribbon, behind. So yours will be probably a very different ribbon attached to the wreath, and everybody has got a different sky depending on which part of the wool tops you have added and you've had in your pack as well. And that pretty much completes today's live stream, repeated on Thursday on the 15th at 7 p.m. on Facebook. So what I do need to tell you is that you must remember to add your photos to our Advent competition, which is posted on Everyone a Maker, our Facebook group. There's a post that's pinned to the top and you can just add your picture. It doesn't matter which stage you're at, just put your name down. Multiple entries are allowed. Put your name down, show us what stage you're at, show us what you've made, whether this is from the Advent calendar or whether this is the Advent wreath project, so different stages of the Advent wreath or different little makes from the Advent calendar. Just let us know what you've been making. And then also don't miss out on the Advent Zoom that Alicia is the Advent Wreath Zoom alongs that Alicia is hosting on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. So the Zoom invitation you will find on our Everyone a Maker group as well, or just drop us a line and we'll send it to you. And that basically completes everything to do with the Advent wreath, and you can craft together. Maybe you've got some questions after you've watched this. Maybe there's some things that you didn't quite understand. Alicia will be there to explain it to you during her Zoom to do with the Advent wreath. And then if you have got our Advent calendar, you know this already, but if you haven't got it and you want to see what's inside our Advent calendar, every day Alicia is posting in the early evenings onto our main page what the day before in our Advent calendar was. So not on the day that it gets opened, because we don't want to spoil anybody's surprise in case they open theirs 1 minute before midnight, but it's always the day before. And that's not just it doesn't just show you what's in there. Alicia is also full of ideas on top of what the ideas we're already giving you in each parcel, because we're sort of trying to give you ideas as we've put them together. But of course Alicia can put them into practice or add more of her own to it as well, and also our lovely customers' ideas as well. So gosh, that was a lot to take in. So please yeah, tune in again. We've got one more Advent live stream. I'm just trying to find that now. Yes, next live stream. So the last one is on December the 20th. We've done the 6th, we've done the 13th today, and the next one is on the 20th of December. And then it's less than a week before it's Christmas. I cannot believe how quickly 2022 has raced past. And if I have not said this because you weren't there when I was saying it, thank you so much for all your loyal custom. I can't say it enough. Without you, we wouldn't be here. And I know that the postal system at the moment is in complete crisis. And I really am sorry if you're waiting for a parcel from us. We are trying our hardest to keep up everything from our end and looking at alternative posting solutions as well. But everybody's busy right now because of what's going on, because of all the strikes. So I'm so sorry. If I could make it okay for you, trust me, I would travel to you and hand deliver it if I could. But unfortunately, we are also victim, or we are also at the receiving end of all of this taking place. So bear with us, bear with everybody. If it's a couple of days late after Christmas, or somebody shared such a lovely post, if you've bought something for somebody and it's not arriving at Christmas, take a photo of it, put it in a card and stick it under the Christmas tree, and at least they know something's coming and they might see a lovely picture of it. So it's not the end of the world if it doesn't come on Christmas. I know it's really annoying, especially when you're making something, but even that you could say, write an IOU or something like that. But of course, it might still all get there in time. So I'm not saying you definitely have to consider that. Right, that's all I've got for you today. Take care, everybody. Stay safe. Don't get out when it's slippy and icy. But do go out and play in the snow because it's so much fun. Lots of love. Bye.